Hello and welcome to the Unverified podcast. I'm your host Simi, aka Tamago24774, and once again I am joined by three fantastic co-hosts. We've got Israel, aka Izzy Rail.
Hello.
Isaac, aka Mechna Gamer.
I forgot how to say hi.
I was like, wait a minute, do we have three co-hosts today?
My brain just froze as I was like, wait, do I say hi, hello, good evening, good morning? Wait, what if it's not that time of day in the region? Oh no.
And hopefully a better intro, we have Reese, aka Gamer Certain.
I'm surrounded by idiots.
Listen, okay, greeting people's hard.
It's not.
Right. Well, you know what? Sometimes our brains just don't work properly. But, we'd hope that our brains were working properly because education is a thing and we need that to... that was a terrible segue. Listen,
no,
basically, last week,
education is a thing.
We're sticking with that.
But it's exactly how I feel about that.
Last week on Unverified, we were talking about the university experience of you guys, and it was just so interesting that we spent the whole episode focused on that. And I think it's especially fitting that we continue to speak about life after school for the second part of the podcast, because today, as we're recording this, is actually A-level results day in the United Kingdom.
Yep. I only knew because I saw it trending on Twitter. And
I know because of my little brother.
Slightly more positive twist there. Although negative depending on how your results day turned out.
Yeah.
Well, best of luck to the A-level students. Hope you got the grades you wanted. Now proceed to listen to us talk about how your future is going to be a muddled mess. And
Semi spoilers. You don't spoil the ending.
Oh yeah, sorry, we were not supposed to say that yet.
The following is a spoiler on your life.
But yeah, in the last episode, we didn't get round to really covering life after sixth form in the non-specifically university sense. The past 4 years, as we've said, it's been quite formative years for all of us, I'd imagine. If you were to pick like one major thing that you would say you've kind of learnt, maybe about yourself, maybe about society, we live in a society, or just, sort of life and your understanding of it. Is there anything in particular that stands out to you?
Honestly, the structure that the school system gives you, just take that for so much granted, man. As soon as you lose that, man, days just go by. Days happen, at least until like maybe you get like a job where you're back in that sort of structure. Without that, it's just a mess where days mean nothing. Time means nothing. You realized 4 years have gone by and it really felt like a month. So, the last episode we did, right? We get a message in the group chat like, "Hey guys, it's almost that time again. It's been like 2 weeks since last time. How about we do this again?" I'm like, "Huh? That wasn't 2-3 days ago?" And that happens every single episode.
I 100% relate to that. I totally feel that because, at first it just felt like, a summer holiday. You have that extended holiday after school. Things are unstructured. It's so cool. Yeah. But around the point where it was like October, November for me, and obviously I'm not in university. I don't have anything.
What you're saying right now is exactly what I'm feeling, and like this feels like you're about to initiate a personal attack on what life is like for me right now. I know exactly what you're going to say, so please don't.
I think we're all in that boat.
Yeah. When I got to like October, November, I'm like, wait, this isn't gonna end. This is it now. This is life.
Yeah.
That was the first point where I was like, oh, I need to give myself things to do. I see.
Yes.
I see.
That is honestly even more than anything that uni tried to teach me. The thing I learned the most is I never want free time again in my life. I'm done with it.
Oh yeah.
Because nothing is scary.
Unironically, I'm really a person who enjoys a lot of monotony. I could like you just give me the same task over and over again, and yeah, I'll probably do it. Honestly, I can enjoy doing that as long as I'm like as long as my needs are met.
I like things varying.
Good.
But I also like a backbone of monotony.
Yeah. Like having the overall thing that you're working towards is definitely nice to have. And that's something that can be lost without the structure of school, which at so far at the point of leaving sixth form is the only structure that I had like that many of us had like that.
Yeah, and it's significant too, because it's like a decent chunk of the day that you're just used to being filled and scheduled for you, that all of a sudden you have to figure it out yourself.
And even past that as well, like with sixth month with units, like, oh, I have free time now and don't really know what to do. But I guess I have that bit of coursework, or I guess I have that bit of homework to do. Let's knock that out of the way. Like, let's
totally.
You know the worst part is, especially with having free time, especially because when you were at school, you kind of woke up early and then your school finished about 3, so the rest of the day. Whenever you have so much free time, you sleep a lot later, wake up a lot later, and you have less of the day.
Oh, like I said, I don't wake up at 1 p.m. I wake up at 8 a.m. America time.
Yeah. Do you know what's something that's really interesting? I still, to this day, every once in a while, I'll measure the time against what I would be doing if I were in school. So if it's 1, I'm like, oh, this would be the beginning of the last 2 periods in school. If it's 3, I'm like, all right, I'd be coming home from school now. So sometimes when it's like 3 or 4 and I haven't really done anything yet that day, I'm like, bro, I would have done a whole school day by now. So that's something every once in a while I think about. I'm like,
I think that sometimes as well.
I still remember first getting into uni, right? And so for the longest, since I lived quite far from school, I'd wake up at 5 a.m. every day. And I was struggling to wake up for 9 a.m. lectures and going, bro, what kind of cruelty are they doing to children that they expect them to wake up for school at 8:30?
Yeah, no, for real. I just remember just sleeping on the bus on the way to school, on the way back from school, bruh.
Yeah.
I missed my stop so many times because I just fell asleep.
Weakling, I never missed my stop even when I slept on the bus every time.
Luckily, I had 2 possible stops I could get off at. So if I missed the first one, there was always the second one. But a few times, I missed both of them and it was just peak, honestly. So, yeah. But yeah, no, definitely. The structure and the importance of routine is something I learnt as well. I became very reliant on a calendar, just using Google Calendar or whatever. At least for me, I was always working on a video, and that always meant I had something to do. I was never in a position where I was like, oh, what do I do? Even if I didn't feel like doing anything, I would always know I can do this. So that's something that definitely helped, just having the channel as my backbone, so to speak, like how Isaac described it.
Yeah. But on that, did you ever sort of find that say the channel to wanting a break from it? Did you be only 9 to 5 and outside of them hours find something else? Or was it just if I'm awake, the channel is there?
So you know what? It's changed a lot and gone back and reverted all sorts. But when I first started, I was pretty much on that grind set where I'm all day, every day, 24/7. Let's bring the numbers in my name to fruition. You know what I mean? I was fully all day, every day. This is all I'm gonna do. Yeah, man. Burnt out in 3 weeks, man.
Understandable. I can see why. Jesus.
Yeah.
Burnout.
And then I'm like, okay, you know what? I probably should be more sensible about this. Then I was like, okay, what if I really treat it like a 9 to 5 where I give myself these set hours and I try and do it within this time and that time? But I also found that also didn't really work. My circumstances at home meant that certain things were kind of unpredictable in terms of whether I'd be able to record at a certain time. And I've got a system now that I've been using for the past year. And it's very simple, right? It's just a daily to-do list. And I write down things that I want to do for the day. And I put down things that are really easy to do. Just so I can get that feeling of, okay, making progress, right?
Oh, yeah.
So I tick things off. And anything I don't do, I don't see it as, oh crap, I failed, I didn't complete everything. I was just like, all right, this gets shifted to tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
So it just, everything I didn't do today, boom, it's on tomorrow. And so I can always look at the to-do list. What can I do today? All right, I'll do that. And, it's easy to think about, but then it's training the sort of discipline of actually doing what's on the to-do list. Yeah. And that took a long time,
Before I just had that on my whiteboard. And I really gave up on it when I realized, because I would write the date. I wouldn't just have like a to-do, this is what needs to get done. I would have, on my whiteboard, the date, and then the thing that needs to be done for that day, and then just, wipe it off when it's done. And I found myself, for like nearly a month, I think, I never added to the to-do list, but every single day I would come back and be like, 23rd, it's 24th now, 25th, 26th, 27th, and before I knew it, like a month had passed and I hadn't done anything. I was like, what am I doing? This is just, who am I kidding?
I totally understand that. Like, even in my system, I did it digitally. I use Google Keep. They have this, task list maker that you can do. And what I'll do is I'll just duplicate it and then change the date. And so there were some tasks that literally it was the same task I needed to do for like 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and I wasn't doing it. And I really just feel like about now, like this year, I'm really starting to get it. And take it in its stride. So I think it definitely takes a long time. And that's what I would answer to what have you learned over the past 4 years is that it was easy for me when I was younger to look at adults and then think, oh, they have it figured out. They know what they're doing. When I get to school, my teachers are there every day. They know what the lesson's about, this, that, and the other. And, now I'm older. I'm like, actually, I bet some of these teachers planned these lessons during the previous lesson. Like, I bet they don't have it as together as I thought.
You've never seen them planning it mid-lesson on the fly?
My science class, we had a science teacher who was basically, he was just planning out lessons during the lesson. So we'd have like 30 minutes of nothing during our lessons because our teacher was just writing in the lesson plan during the lesson.
Right. So that's even worse than what I said. I was saying planning for the next lesson. They were planning the lesson you were in. But yeah, like, just learning that everyone is figuring it out. I would say that's the biggest thing I learned.
The only thing people have figured out is how to pretend they have it figured out.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, like no matter how polished things look, you can bet the behind the scenes is a bit messy
100%.
Or majorly messy. Yeah. So yeah.
There's one thing I've learned is that personally, things are not as interesting as people make them out to be. Essentially, that just certain things where people want you to go do something, or even just people in general, aren't as interesting as they say they are. Not to be mean, but people aren't as boring as well. Just let me just like people aren't as boring and people aren't as interesting as they say. I think
this was actually out here just like I just really don't like people.
I'm not okay. I'm not saying this in the case as I don't like people. I'm just saying this in the case of like, it's not that deep.
That's fair. So you say that's like one of the biggest things you learned. So previously, what would you say your attitude was?
See, that I never tried out the things people did anyways before. It's just that I had like anxiety over it.
Oh,
before.
okay.
Yeah. I was more like anxious over missing stuff out. I know actually when I wait to go to it, but I was usually very anxious of missing things. So yeah, that was the thing I had.
And was there an experience that really taught you that actually I'm not missing out on much?
I'm trying to think. Oh god, I wish I could remember.
Don't worry. Just because I'm here doesn't mean you need to be shy. You can just say, yeah, that one time Isaac recommended me anime.
Oh man.
Oh, I figured it out. It might be.
Oh, you did? Okay. Let's hear it.
Because Isaac mentioned anime, it might be One Punch Man. It might be.
Oh my god.
I agree with that. I agree with that. Yeah.
One.
I agree with you there.
I'm very surprised it actually was an anime recommendation.
I'm not the one who recommended this one to him, so I'm saying.
Yeah, he's not the one who recommended it. Like, everyone at Sixth Form recommended this to me. Jesus.
Right. Right. So yeah, Isaac, is there anything major you'd say you've learned that's caused you to like grow as a person over the last 4 years?
Yeah, I think I've learned a few things. Out of the main one, I think, which was pertinent to me, is to just pace myself. because beforehand I was always on that, oh, you gotta grind, never quit mentality, basically. Oh, you're putting all the work. Like, well, tried that at uni. What would end up happening is I would have like long periods of time of doing, extreme levels of work, and then the second I even let my body know that there's a time of a break, that's it. I am gone for like at least a month. And so it was more to just pace myself to make sure that I'm doing, like, obviously still doing a good quality, like a reasonable amount of work, but not going, oh yeah, every single second of every single day needs to be work, especially just because with, like, coming from an African background, basically, with my parents, like, I would actually be doing work at home and revising occasionally, and then my parents would come upstairs and open my door at the one time I'm taking a break.
Honestly, Isaac, I agree. Honestly, in my opinion, I feel like my parents did not believe that I ever revised, even though I clearly do. Especially because my grades show it. But whenever I do bad, my parents would be like, "Oh, you did not revise. I never see you revise." I'm like, "You never see me revise, anyways."
Yeah. Like, one time you come to check, it's for one time I'm taking a break. And also, I guess it's just another thing of, just like how much things personally matter to me, because before, like, a lot of things I was doing them because my parents were there telling me to, going, oh yeah, Isaac, you got this grade on this, that's not good enough, you can do better. Whereas now I'm just like, it's okay. Like, as long as, like, giving things my own self-worth and deciding that for myself rather than, like, parents basically and other influences on that.
You know what? I actually relate to that heavy, not on the actual, like, parental pressure side, but I definitely did feel a pressure as a result of leaving school and not going to university, because I was always expected to go to university, and it was a big shock to people when I didn't go. Teachers from school, other students,
honestly,
family members.
All of us, we weren't really surprised.
Right. Wait, would you say that's true for you guys?
I think my parents were shocked, more shocked than I was, honestly.
Yeah, same.
Well, I was kind of shocked. I like knew you wasn't necessarily like into uni and then had like a the subject really wanted to like pursue, but I did also just kind of expect you to sort of like the rest of us just do it anyway.
To be fair, the moment I saw the Club Penguin story video hit 1 million views, I was like, yeah, I understand this man is not going uni.
He's a Club Penguin YouTuber now. Too good for uni.
Oh man. Yeah. No, like, there definitely, I felt that pressure. And because I knew that, people sort of expected great things from me, I felt a pressure that I had to do very well on YouTube to sort of make up for the fact that I went against people's expectations. I felt that pressure really heavily. But yeah, like, I eventually sort of just realized, I don't owe anybody me meeting their expectations. It's really just about what do I want to do, and am I doing it? And that was really tough to learn, because I feel like my entire life I've basically been trying to meet people's expectations. It's part of the reason I tried so hard in school, because I wanted to upkeep I do well in school. That's what people expected of me, so I wanted to keep it up. So then, learning that people's expectations don't actually have much weight on you was huge for me. And it's led to me being a lot more satisfied with myself. Because for a long time, I was even kind of embarrassed a little bit to be like, yeah, I'm doing YouTube. Even though it's what I wanted to do. When someone asked, it was kind of like, oh, I got a place at Warwick. I would just tell them, because that is technically true. Yeah, I got a place at Warwick Uni, but I wouldn't go into it,
Yeah, Simi and I got into the same uni. He just didn't go to uni because he didn't want to be in the same uni as me. Right.
Understandable, to be fair. Yeah, Simi, now that Isaac's, graduated and out of there, now you can go.
Okay, I see. Oh, man. With you guys being done with university, do you feel a sort of pressure yourselves?
Yes, there's a heavy pressure on me.
Yeah.
To get a job immediately. Like, I get that my parents and everyone's just trying to help, but really and truly, I do not need you, like, coming over, going, oh yeah, send me your CV, I'll, like, start using connections and stuff. Like, I get you're trying to help, but the more and more you do it, the more and more it just feels like you're putting pressure on me, going, it's Isaac doesn't have a job yet. and it's like,
oh my god, Isaac, I agree with you so much. Oh god, I've had to do all that for a whole year. Haha.
For any parents listening, I doubt very much, but for any parents listening, I get it. You want the best for your kids, but like, the more you act, you need to try to be careful with it. The more pressure you start putting on them, and like making it seem like, oh, you don't value what they've done, or oh, you know better than them in what they want to do. So just
Okay, right. Yeah. No, I could definitely see that sort of pressure, because there is this like very outlined path where it's like you go to school, you go to university, you get a job, but there's never considered any sort of period of time between these things.
No.
When these things really are processes, right? And so it's not going to be that simple. Reese, how about you? Are you feeling any sort of like similar pressure, whether it's parental or otherwise?
Yes, but also no. If anything, most of the pressure I've felt to get a job is actually from the uni itself. Whenever like I've had like tour meetings or anything like that at uni, it's always just been like about like getting a job thing. What are you planning on? What do you want to do? Do you know what you want to do? What area do you want to go into? I'm like, I don't know. Why I'm taking time to figure out what I want to do.
Reese, to be fair, I get whatever uni's applying that pressure to you.
I know.
Like, it's just because that's the statistic that they took, you know.
Again, they can just put me on the numbers that said survived. I'm fine with that.
Reese, no one wants to see those numbers that say survived. You know how depressing that'll be to students going, this percentage of people survived.
They made it through and got the piece of paper that they may or may not use. Congratulations.
No, I mean, anything less than 100% survival, like, as a university statistic, will bring worry to people. And they'll just be like, maybe not, and actually have second thoughts about it.
It's actually crazy that people don't know that you could fail uni.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With sixth form, it's like you could walk out with all U's theoretically, but like, even that, you could just sort of retake sixth form. A lot of the time at uni, you find yourself like scarily close to that like 40%, which is sort of the considered fail. And it's just like, just terrifying.
Also, I guess not with regards to what Smith said as well, something else, which is, you know, a bit of pressure right now, is just pressure from other people, because I know, and because of LinkedIn, like LinkedIn has been trying to connect me to all those freaking Bangor, like, well, not even necessarily Bangor, but just for people who happen to get jobs, like, immediately or confirmed before going out of university. I just
hey,
like,
Isaac, those are the people who remembered to get a summer internship in between the study years, and basically went, oh, you're cool, we'll hire you the second you graduate.
Yeah, Reese, I realize it, so just seeing them, it's just like, oh, there are people who have jobs and I don't. That just, I get why. It just still feels like almost.
It doesn't always hurt, but it's especially when it's the ones like, I never liked you, and you see them on that same situation.
Literally, yeah.
LinkedIn is such a freaking interesting social media, man. It's literally just people be like, I'm going to work. It's like, okay, well done. Yeah, no, it's just different to any other social media.
Yeah.
Are you guys looking to start working within like the next year or so? Like, Israel, you've mentioned you have this sort of freelance thing.
At least for me, possibly I'm looking to do the freelancing thing for like a while. I mean, at least specifically with the studio I'm with, not for very long, because I might, you know, I'm trying to mostly, at least for me, I'm trying to mainly use the studio as some way of like a portfolio to showcase, hey, I've done some work. I actually have professional work that's out there, and I'm getting paid for and I'm, you know, potentially making royalty off professional work. So, you know, to showcase, there, and then, you know, move on from there. Basically, that's what I'm trying to do.
Right. Okay.
Also, make connections with any artists I foresee there. So yeah, because unfortunately, the problem is my university is in the Midlands, and so all of my any connections I could make is only in that area.
Same.
Right.
I could probably have gotten a job much more easily if I had actually decided to work in Coventry, but I don't want to live in Coventry, so no.
Yeah. I'm like,
you know, I suppose that is actually one of the benefits of going to university in a big city, which I never really considered before, because I'm thinking about my cousin who went to University of Birmingham, and he just lives in Birmingham now. I thought he would come back to London. I really just thought, oh, everyone will come back to London. But nah, like, apparently it's very common. that you kind of just stay where you went to uni. And because Birmingham's, a pretty big city, he was able to get a job there and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So I was quite surprised about that.
To be fair,
but yeah.
Another thing about Birmingham is like it's very close to other different cities in the West Midlands, so it's like there are a bunch of different cities you can also just go to around there.
I feel like that's something they don't really mention when it comes to picking a university. They say choose a city you want to live in, like a place that you like, but they don't really consider that you actually might stay there. So like really pick somewhere you like.
If you're doing things right, you likely will stay there because it's easy to find a job there because you have more connections there, more people and whatnot.
I mean, the pandemic made it a bit difficult for us to make as many connections, but
I still managed to come up with some, so you guys are just lacking.
Yeah, I managed to come up with some as well.
Bro, they just left you in the dust, man.
Bro,
that was deep.
bro, my connections were so strong, I even gave Simba work.
Damn, okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
The connections you need.
Reese, we heard, a little from you. You saying that, you want to take some time before, like, going on a job hunt and stuff like that. I remember you mentioning you were interested in robotics, right? Is that something you're still into, or what's up with you right now?
Yeah, still into it, but the trouble is haven't really had much time to explore it much. It is also things of, like, because I, graduated Imperial, there is that extra pressure to like, you're an Imperial graduate student, huh? So when you running Google, Microsoft, Facebook, one of the big tech companies, and it's like, do I even want to like give myself that kind of big tech stress, or would I prefer to just like just go for like a smaller like startup and just work there?
Yeah.
Honestly, the main thing I've just considered just starting my own, doing it myself.
Being a business owner, yeah.
Yeah, I've tried to, or trying in the process of, like, it's sort of why I wanted to give myself this break, is like build up my skills in various areas, whether it's like app or web development and stuff like that, and try and freelance a bit. And even if I go at normal full company, still maybe try some freelance on the side and just see where it goes.
Totally. Yeah, so Isaac, how about you?
I am trying to find a job as quickly as possible for one main reason, because like I'm fully aware that like regardless of what career I go into, even if like I think at first I'm going to like it, I might just not. So what I'm trying to do right now is trying to get a job so then I can move out. So because right now like I have a lot of projects which I might want to do on the side, like maybe like try a few things out. However, right now the main restriction is just my location, because not only is my house obviously noisy at times, but my room is tiny. Like, literally all that is in my room is a bed and a wardrobe, and there's still no space to walk.
Okay.
Oh, I ain't even got a wardrobe in this room right now.
But yeah, so
a word flex?
Word flex. Well, no, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to just, like, basically I've been searching for jobs, like, just around both in and outside of London, obviously, so then I can move out and try to start getting things sorted, like trying to diversify things.
Right, okay. And I'm curious, how do you go about looking for a job? Are you on like websites like Glassdoor or what?
Too many websites.
Too many websites. So just every website is possible. Google.
Yeah, okay.
Google Maps.
Please
Google
give
Maps.
me job.
What I would do is go on Google Maps, search for studios around me, then go, okay, cool. All right, click on the studio, find the website of the studio, find the contact or who I should contact, or at least find like the list of studio's contact details. Then give that. Then write an opening letter. Then send them my CV, and then hope a response happens.
Right.
Yeah, there are just like we've also too many websites because, like we said, Google.
Send your CV
like,
to anywhere we'll take it.
Yeah, because engineering is STEM. Like there are a lot of basically dedicated like websites with graduate jobs. So just going all of them, like updating my LinkedIn profile, and every single time I come up in the search, just like cool, apply for this job. Like I've actually had to limit it because I started getting confused as to how many applications I had at the moment and what each one was. So now I'm on a like rolling free basis. So as soon as I get rejected from one dab, I apply for another to replace that spot, basically.
Oh, some of
these jobs I didn't even get rejections. I just got ghosted.
I've only ever got ghosted, man. It ain't right.
Okay, no, that's another thing as well. For some of them, I forget that I've even applied, so I just think I've gotten ghosted or something, or forget that they even exist. And then all of a sudden, like, 1 month, like, a few months, it's just like, oh yeah, so you've been invited to the interview, and I'm like, wait, what even was this position for? What is this company? I'm confused. What do you mean?
Then you have to do your research after you've freaking gotten the freaking interview. Yeah.
Like, oh, so why do you want to work at this company?
Right. What's really interesting is, you know, despite the fact that I was doing YouTube full time, I wasn't yet sure if this is what I really was going to be doing. Doing YouTube was great, but I was still sort of enamored by this idea of a dream job. And I was thinking, I don't know if YouTube is my dream job. I don't know if it's my passion. So I'm like, there must be something else. So I kept doing all these freaking personality quizzes and careers quizzes, trying to find what the thing was. And yeah, like I was essentially trying to figure out, okay, what do I actually want to do? Until I realized, you know what, I do really like this YouTube thing, and no job is going to be like this 100% perfect, it never feels like work thing. Like no job is ever going to be like that. And I feel like I have a good thing going, and I was getting opportunities through YouTube, and I was really scared. Like a lot of times I thought I made a mistake. I was like, damn, I shouldn't have done this, blah, 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 this, that. But you know, overall it worked out, but it was definitely a tumultuous journey. It wasn't just like, oh, I'll be a YouTuber, and then I was. It was like so much doubting, like, oh, I think I've made the wrong decision here. So,
yeah, and I was even trying to live with Simeon, like third year possibly. But like,
right.
He's gonna try.
Yeah, because he's gonna go to the same uni, right? Yeah.
It would have been so cool, but
that would have been cool. That would have been cool. I remember us actually discussing that. Yeah. But man, right.
I guess like now, Simi, now that you've got this far in, do you still regret it, or?
Oh no, absolutely not. You know, like
fair enough.
I am so happy with the decision I made. I really like what I do, and I'm just really grateful that it even worked out, because so many things had to go right for this to actually work out. And I'm just like so grateful for it, you know.
Blessed
like,
be the algorithm.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Because here's the thing, right? Like I've now realized how little I actually knew about what I was doing when I decided to do it. To the point where, would I advise myself to have done what I did? Maybe not. But I'm just like, wow, I really didn't know what I needed to know. But it's just part of the process. It was learning.
That's the same with everything, I feel like, you know?
Yeah.
With
that regard, I'm actually going to turn Reese's question around to our students. Any of us regret what we did, our choice?
No comment.
I have no idea. I don't know. I don't think I do, because I nothing is coming to mind right now. My mind is blank.
Yeah, that's fair. See, I feel like the issue is because uni was the natural path, like there wasn't really an alternative to, like, regret not having chosen, so.
My main regret is not fighting COVID as much for the social stuff, but other than that, I mean, I'm here now, I suppose.
Question for you guys, like, I guess more so for Isaac and Reese, because you guys have just finished this year. Has the feeling of being done with education settled in? Like, have you mentally, like, wrapped your head around it? Like, I'm done. And then I guess also for Israel, is that something that you've achieved, and when did it happen? Like, yeah, let's hear about it.
My friend, my guy, the feeling of being done with education set in way before I finished my last exam in coursework. I've been done for a few months now.
Okay, I've got mixed feelings about it, because, like, you know, like, because of COVID, it really screwed up, because, like, I always, you know, imagine, like, oh yeah, big graduation, even if it wasn't the most emotional thing, you know, that's it, that's the full stop. Them just mailing me my certificate just didn't hit the same, like, at all. Like, I was done with, you know, my last exam, I was like, okay, yeah, now I just need to wait for results. I, you know, waited for results, got results, I was like, okay, now that's, like, certified thing, you know, just need to get the certificate. And then it just arrived in the mail one day.
Do you not have do you not have a graduation ceremony?
No, they're just like, it might happen at some point in the future, but until then, here's your certificate.
Yeah, because I think we should expect it mailed and then still have like a ceremony.
Yeah, my uni recommended that you request that your certificate be sent and then come to the graduation. So.
Yeah, that's what mine did as well. However, they haven't told us when the graduation is, and like just waiting, for the graduation to actually happen to then finally have that final full stop on it. Just means like right now, this entire time, I'm just kind of sitting here in limbo.
Right. They're going to hand you a sheet of A4 that's been rolled up.
They just have a smiley face that says good job.
I high-key don't want to go graduation just because of how long that day's going to be. I don't want to be in the car
I get that,
hours.
but to be fair, it might be nice to have like, the pictures and the gown and stuff, unless you really don't give any damn about that.
I mean, Simi, my sister's university did it in an even more interesting way because, like, they're still going to have their graduation ceremony and everything, but they had, like, a graduation already, which was just the pictures. Like, people came, rented the actual outfits, and took pictures, and that was it.
Oh.
And so it's like...
Interesting.
Does that still have the same feel, or...?
That is odd. I don't know.
I mean, especially because I've grown, like, really close to some of my uni friends as well, to the point where I'm like, once I've, like, settled down, I'm probably just going to go, like, back to the university to just hang with some of them anyway, who are, like, doing postgrad. So it's like, there isn't really, like, any sort of feeling of ending or finish, so I'm not sure if I would say done with university, but I'm definitely done with university.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, at least for me, the feeling of that education had ended was a strange one for me. It was when during like my last tutorial, literally at the end of my last tutorial, the last lecturer I spoke to, that's when education like it ended, because education has ended, but learning hasn't.
Yeah, learning doesn't end though.
Yeah.
I'm done with learning.
No knowledge.
I've learned all I need to learn.
Yeah, no, like that's absolutely true. The learning never stops. Like leaving school in 2017, it basically settled in that
I'm
freaking
to show how long ago
done.
it was, man.
Bro, 2017 was actually 4 years ago. That feels odd.
That's nuts, right? Nuts. I've been out of school for 4 years. Holy crap. When I withdrew my application from Warwick, which was literally just an email, it wasn't like a phone call, a conversation. I emailed them saying I would like to withdraw from my space at the University of Warwick starting in 20 blah blah blah, and they were like, okay, thanks for letting us know. I was like, huh? Is that it?
You should have got the Warwick rejection email, like the sorry you didn't meet our entry requirements, and just turn that back on them.
I guess we're bleeping this out then. Jesus.
Yeah.
They're putting the university on blast.
No, I'm not editing it out. It's okay. That's the university I'd graduated from. He's allowed to put it on blast in this podcast.
Oh, damn, wild.
I mean, we've all left, We're all done with that.
It was freaking... It's freaking, yeah.
Like they can't take away my degree from me anymore, so
they can try.
They can try.
But yeah, at that point I was like, oh yeah, I'm actually done with school now, aren't I? All right then, fair. But I still kept learning stuff. I was learning how to make these videos. I was still doing a lot of writing, just for my video stuff. And even now, I'm still learning. I'm like, it's all very practical learning. Like, everything I learn is something that I'm using. And that is a nice feeling, right? That is a nice feeling. Yeah, being out of education, it's definitely, I'm so used to it now, and I'm not going back. At least, not without a very clear goal in mind for why I want to go into education. For you guys, so like, sometimes when you enter a career, they need like a certain accreditation. You need to like have some sort of qualification under your belt that's not a uni qualification, but more of a vocational one. So like in that sense, you could be re-entering some sort of education. How do you feel about that?
I kind of depends because I kind of know that I am by force. The other day, a family friend came around, was like, so Isaac, how's, job finding going? And, I explained the situation. It's like, oh no, that's not good. Hold on, give me a second. He called up one of his friends and he was like, cool, I just got you on like a course like for data security, have fun. And I'm like, why?
Oh my god.
Bro. Yeah. Yeah, I'm on the music course, so honestly, you don't even need a degree for any of the stuff you need to do for music or any kind of... All you really need is evidence that, like, you can do it, or like, at least proof of, like, work that you've done, essentially.
Right. And Reese, how are you feeling about it? Would you be willing to do like a course that gets you, you know, qualified for a specific job? Or I guess since you are also looking into like freelancing and starting your own thing, I'm guessing you wouldn't be looking in that direction, but let us know anyway.
I unfortunately I am aware I will likely have to do some sort of like course or thing. There is of course many areas in whatever form of place that I choose to go into that, you know, you don't learn everything at uni. There's still a lot that's missed out. There's still like certain like specific things that I know I need to learn. But if I'm going back to learn and I want to learn on my own terms,
this would be the perfect spot for like a Skillshare or masterclass sponsorship.
I was thinking it as well, but I'm like, they're not paying us to say that. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nah. I totally feel that. Honestly, I really felt done with school. In year 13, I was like, I'm done.
I just want to make stuff, man.
Right. Yeah.
I don't want to learn how to make stuff. I want to just do it finally.
Yeah. It does feel good to actually just be able to do the things rather than have a bunch of like theory and learning about it. You want to get into
with theory.
Yeah. Unless you're talking about your driving test, you do need to get it down too.
No theory. I'll just figure it out.
No theory, all vibes.
Yeah.
I'm pretty good at bumper cars, so I can probably do it. It's
Isaac, you know, learning to drive is sort of has an opposite goal to bumper cars, right?
No, Reese, it's fine. It's basically the same thing.
Kind of the opposite.
Oh, man. You know what? Quick tangent based on bumper cars. I remember I was in a fun fair and got into bumper cars, and they told us, please do not drive into each other.
What?
It's like, mate, they don't call them bumper cars, call them cars.
What's the point of it?
They were like, please don't do that. I was like, what the flip? What was it for then? But yeah.
They will just have go-karts then, like what?
Guys, thank you very much for another really cool podcast. I hope that anyone who's listening, who's maybe, you know, whatever stage you're in, whether you're about to go into university or in university or you've recently graduated, I hope you found something here that was interesting to you. Thank you for tuning into the Unverified podcast. If you want to find us on social media, you can check out our Twitters. On the YouTube version, the link will be in the description. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to give it a 5-star rating on iTunes. Be sure to like it on Spotify. Do all the nice things so that people know you enjoy listening to the podcast. If you want to see us live, you can check out twitch.tv/Unverif show, where we have links to all of our individual streams. Do we have any closing statements? Israel, what's up?
Change is gonna change. Some changes may happen to your university. Maybe small, maybe tiny. Maybe if you're not going to be, changes will probably start to you. Maybe small, maybe big. But at least for me, I had small changes. I started university as a big Ruby fan, and now I ended it as a big Ruby hater.
Hater, bruh. Oh man, great. Isaac, you got a closing statement?
Oh yeah, it might look like, you know, we've got everything planned out, like we're geniuses, you know, like having these, you know, episodes coming out just as A-level results come out. No, this was not planned at all. We are idiots. We've had this idea for a while and just been procrastinating.
I was planned. We procrastinated it until this perfect time came around. Even, you know,
no, we didn't.
Even the 2 parts of, like, you know, everything leading up to sort of results last time and everything post after you get the results. All planned.
Like, it's too perfect to be true. Trust me. If things seem too perfect, like this situation, like that people have it too planned, they probably didn't at all, and it just happenstance, honestly. So don't worry.
Awesome. Reese, you got a closing statement for us?
Everyone's just winging it. No one knows what they're doing.
Bro, you took my closing statement, bro. Which I think is testament to how everyone is just winging it. People. We thank you very much for tuning in to the podcast. We'll catch you next time on the Unverified podcast. Peace out, everyone. Bye-bye.
Goodbye.
Bye.